All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's open forum. I am very excited about today's open forum. This is one of my favorite things to talk to you guys about. And I'm also excited because I have been completely replaced by AI. So I'm going to show you guys how those of you who know me and have been here for a while know that about once or twice a year, I do a thing where I try to kick you guys a little bit and get you going and give you a little bit of tough love on sales and how you can boost your business. Let me ask you first, though. First of all, only one of you has your camera on. If anybody else wants to put their camera on, that'd be great because I could use some feedback in this. And I'm going to ask you, but use the chat as well. But those of you who are up and dressed and have your makeup on and or whatever you want to do, you have your hair done like mine, whatever it is you want to do. Look at Ryan's got his makeup on. He's ready to go. So thank you. You look great.
I got my hair did too.
How many of you guys? Let me see both in the chat and if you just want to do raise your hands or shake your heads or whatever. How many of you guys ever feel stuck in this business? Like you want to do more and you just feel, yeah, Kathy, yeah, we all do, right? And whatever you do, sometimes we feel stuck. Anything that's commission based, you're going to get stuck sometimes. Do you ever feel almost paralyzed, like you've got nowhere to go and you're not sure what to do yet? You're not sure what you can do to get going. And that's kind of the stuck feeling, right? Obviously you guys wouldn't be in here if you didn't want to do better and make more and all that, right? So I'm going to show you in a little bit how I've been replaced by AI, but it's a tough business, guys. Isn't it a great business? I mean, nobody tells you how much you can make. Nobody tells you where to be, when to be there. I mean, you have to work and you have to make appointments and do things, and so your buyers can tell you when to be somewhere, and your listing appointments can, you set listing appointments, you do all that stuff. But it's a great business. Nobody puts a cap on how much you can make. Nobody's standing over you all the time telling you what to do and where to go. So it's really, really great, but there's a hard part, right? And that we get stuck. So what I want to do today is get you guys unstuck and give you some ideas. I can't do it for you. The actual hard part is doing it. And what I'm going to show you is, even though I do this once or twice a year and with varying results, and I think you guys get pretty excited about it, I want to actually give you some boost, some push to get you unstuck from what you're doing. Let's look at some things. So last night, in preparation for this, I've talked to you guys many times about this. And what I've always told you guys is, look, be friends with a divorce attorney, make friends with an accountant, do all these things where you, not just friends, but, start a referral back and forth with these people. That's a great way to get a couple of deals a year. Join get busy in your PTA, or, when you're out being a soccer mom or grandmom or grandpa anyway, talk to people, wear your name tag, wear a shirt that says, Florida Realty Investments or Tammy Pipkin Realtor or whatever, right? Make sure people know who you are and what you do. It can't hurt, and you'll get a deal or two a year out of it. And that's how you cobble these things together. And I've told you guys about when I grew up, my aunt was a very successful real estate agent, and she was back when there was just Century 21 and a couple other companies. And she was Century 21, and she had her gold jacket. Those of you who are old will remember that Century 21 agents wore their gold jackets and name tags and everything else. And my aunt would go around. She was big in the Chamber of Commerce and all these, free things except for time. And she sponsored a Little League team, and she didn't even have. She only had one kid, and it was a girl. And she sponsored a Little League team. And she did everything. In fact, her kid is Meredith, the lawyer who comes on here sometimes. But that's what you used to do to be a successful realtor. And nowadays it's completely different, as you know, but you can still do that stuff. So what I wanted to do last night is I did something. I'm going to share my screen with you. And I went on AI. I happened to use Grok because I was already logged in from my Twitter account. It doesn't matter which one you use probably, but this one, I don't know if you guys have used this, but it's pretty cool and a little different from OpenAI or ChatGPT. Let me blow this up a little bit for you. And I'll show you how it's different. So I did something, and guys, I'm sorry, I went into the rabbit hole last night on this for a while. I just remembered this morning some of my favorite questions that I asked it, just the very basic ones that I asked it. So I did it. How can I become a successful realtor? All right. And it goes, obviously, get licensed, learn the market. I'm not going to go through this, guys, with you, except some of these are ones that I teach anyway. Build a network. This is what I was talking about. I always talk to you guys about your team. And look, it talks about local groups, Chamber of Commerce, networking events, connect with lenders, inspectors, contractors. I always tell you guys to have a great team. And this is why you don't need me anymore, because AI is doing it for you now, telling you exactly what it is. Pick a niche, stand out by specializing, first-time buyers, luxury homes, investment properties. That is something I teach you guys too. I would have a niche or two, but this is great, guys. If let's say you're a single person with no kids, but you love your dog. You're one of these people that says my dog is my child and blah blah blah. Right? Make that your thing. Get other people who feel the same way to want to work with you. Make that your thing on social media. And if you're not on social media because you're too this or too that or too old or too private or too young or too whatever you are, you need to be on it because it's a business. This is a business, guys. You've got to be on there. I know you might not want to do things. Yeah, I'd rather be sitting on a beach, but we have to do things that we don't like to do. So keep that in mind while you're doing this. Market yourself, get visible, set up a simple website with listings and testimonials. These are exact things I used to have written down. Use social media, post market updates, success stories, quick video tours. There is a little bit of fake it till you make it on this stuff too. Showing houses today, get out there and show houses. Get out there and take videos of the houses that you're showing. You might show somebody, you got somebody who wants to buy $1 million house. You might show them 10 houses or whatever. Take videos, make it look like it. Keep releasing them every couple of days. Make it look like you're showing $1 million houses all day, every day, right? Beautiful day to be showing houses, that kind of thing, and post some pictures. It doesn't have to be that day either. It could have been from a couple of days ago. It could have been whatever. Make sure people realize what you're into. People know you and like you, and they want to do business with you. They just need to know what you're doing. They need to know that you're busy, that you're successful, even more so than you are. Okay. And that's, you may or may not like, fake it till you make it kind of things, but you need to have social media is all bluster anyway. You guys do it with your gym photos and your this and that anyway. It's all nonsense, right? So that's what you need to be doing is do it for business. Master communication. Clients want someone responsive and clear, answer calls, text, of course. That's working hard. This is obvious stuff that we talk about too, but hustling for leads, open house. We're going to get into this later because I asked it some other questions. Open houses, cold calls, door knocking. Most new agents fail because they don't put in the hours, treat it like a business, not a side gig. Some of you guys are not new agents. You've been in the business 10 years, but you still get stuck sometimes. Sometimes you have to go back to basics. The market has been tough. It's getting a little bit better. The market has been tough. Sometimes we have to go back to basics. By the way, I have a open house if anybody wants to work it in Lady Lake, not for me, for another client or for another agent. She wants someone to work an open house in Lady Lake. It's a fancy place in a golf course community. If anybody wants to work it, if you don't know where Lady Lake is, it's the Villages area. Okay. Keep learning. Market shift, laws change. Obviously, you guys do that. Focus on service. Success isn't just closing deals. Happy clients. This is where we talk about taking care of people, following up. The cheapest client to get is a repeat client, right? And a referral. And they will do that if you take care of them. Stay resilient. Deals file through. Clients ghost. It's part of it. Track your progress, set goals. I don't know if I've ever mentioned to you guys goal setting, but I'm kidding. We do it every year. We do it every 6 months. We'll be doing it again in July, beginning of July, end of June, to track what the goals that we set for this year. If you need help with goal setting, contact me or look back into you can look back on our YouTube at the beginning of the year when I do them every year. Okay, here we go. This is the next thing I did. I have money to buy realtor leads. What's the best way to go about it? This is what I like about Grok, guys, and I'm not sure if OpenAI has this, but Grok puts it right here. When it gives me all of these things, look at the ones it gives specifics on all the companies, and I get further into it in a second, further down the page here. But look, every time it does this, it gives you 25 web pages if you want to get more in depth in it. So that's what I do like about Grok is it puts it right there. It gives you 25 places where it pulled all this information. 43 underrated real estate lead generation ideas for 2025. Guys, take a little bit and go through this stuff. Yes, Nahi.
Hey, Ryan, it's good to see you and the team. I just want to say something quick. I haven't been an active realtor with your company, but now with the blessing of God, I retired, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys more. The quick question I have regarding the G-Rock, is this something you have to pay for?
No, nope,
No, thank you.
no. And I signed in through, I actually found it through Twitter. It's owned by X, Twitter, whatever.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And so I was in Twitter, and I actually saw somebody post something, and one of the first comments was, "Grok, is this true?" And Grok will respond to whatever they did. You can find out if it's fake news or not by giving you 25 websites that give both sides of the story or whatever it is that you're looking for. So it was kind of interesting that I kind of found it that way, and then I went into the rabbit hole about some other stuff, and then about real estate. So this is really, it's a good thing. No, it's free. OpenAI, ChatGPT is also free. You can pay for it if you want to, but you won't have to as much as you're going to be using it. But if you want, like, they'll tell you, they try to talk you into buying it for $20 a month or something like that. Even if it were $20 a month for AI, it's obviously worth it. But you don't really have to pay for any of it. But no, this was absolutely free. I've never paid a dime for AI or anything. Okay, so, but look at this. So this is, I have money to buy realtor leads. What's the best way to go about it? You guys can do this for yourself, but Zillow Premier Agent, Market Leader, Bold Leads, RedX, Realtor.com, and there's a bunch more we're going to see in a little bit. Prior towards, they gave just some examples. Test small first. There's lots of companies that'll do 1 to 3 months. You don't be wary of anybody wants to sign you a long contract. You want, just like anything else, you want to make sure it works before you do it, but don't give up on it too early either. It does take time for these things to build a pipeline and come to fruition. I will tell you, I've not seen, unless they gave up too early, I have not seen people fail at this, at buying leads and closing leads. We have some of our most successful agents are definitely buying leads. Jean, you have a question? If you do, you might be muted. I can't see if you're talking. All right. If you just pipe in, if you figure out your question. If you're starting fresh, I'd lean toward Market Leader for exclusive leads for Zillow, or Zillow if you're in a hot buyer market and can respond fast. So it talks about Zillow leads. I have talked to you guys many times about Zillow/Realtor.com/ whatever kind of leads you're buying like that. When people go on, and I've heard you guys say, well, these are not exclusive leads, etc. That is a lack of understanding. So what happens is, if I am going to buy a house, let's say I have a wife, which I don't, but if I were going to, and she wanted to move somewhere, guess what? We would move somewhere. So we put the kids to bed and we sit down with the laptop and we start going through houses, right? And we see some houses. We see a house that we really think, oh, that's in a great area. That's one. Look how pretty the pictures are. Let's go look at that one. And so we click on whatever, we send a lead. We don't know anything about real estate. Okay. So we went on Zillow. And so we send a lead to someone, unbeknownst to us, right? We click on the thing, we want to see this house, and it sends a lead to whoever bought that lead. We do not just go to bed and say, oh, that's our new house. All right, right? We keep looking at other houses. And so we send out 5 more leads that night. And the next day, it is going to be a mad rush to contact us. And we are going to get lots of phone calls. And yes, the 3rd, 4th, 5th people that call us, we're going to say, leave us alone. We're not interested, or we're not going to answer the phone the rest of the day, or whatever, any number we don't recognize, because we're going to have realtors ringing us off the hook. Okay. So you have to be, if you're going to buy these leads, that's what it says here. Zillow, if you're in a hot market and can respond fast. Okay. Because people are sending out lots of Zillow leads, and the same person is sending out many, because they're clicking on many different, a lot of times different zip codes, a lot of times different agents, etc. You can't respond fast. You're going to be wasting money. So you need to know what kind of leads you're getting. Okay. And it gets into that in a minute. What are some examples of companies that sell realtor leads? Okay. Here's Zillow, Market Leader, Realtor.com. And it tells you what they think. That it gives you pluses and minuses. It mix of buyer and seller leads with tools to help you manage them, though costs can climb in competitive markets. Bold Leads, RedX, Offers, SmartZip, Real Geeks. And you guys have talked about Real Geeks quite a bit in here. This one's more of an all-in-one deal. Custom website, Facebook ads, CRM to manage them. You get buyer and seller leads, but it's on you to drive traffic to their tools. Meaning you are going to have to do videos. You are going to have social media marketing. You are going to have to do things that drive people to your website. Here we go. It gives a little bit of that, but more importantly, it gives you 25 web pages. Let's see what these are about. Different ways, best places to buy, etc. 25 different websites. As you can see. 63 foolproof real estate lead generation ideas, luxury presence. Different ways, right? Okay. That's your examples of companies. Guys, these are just things. So what do you do with those? Ryan, what do I do with those? I have a list now. You call them and you get a demo, or you reach out to them on their website and they'll give you a demo of what their leads are. A lot of them have free trials. A lot of them have this and that. Do not get stuck, guys. This is as easy as looking into it for a few minutes and then executing it. It is a job. It is a business you're running. It is something, guys, I work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and I answer your questions on the weekends to the best of my ability. You have to work. You just have to. Yeah, I guarantee if you guys work just 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, you will have all of this set up very, very quickly. Of course, you'll have to work weekends because you have to show houses and do everything else. But you'll have this all set up very, very quickly. If you treat this like a real job and a real company, you will be successful. I promise you. If I want to spend $500 per month on leads, which company and program is best? You put whatever money you want in there. I was just throwing that out there. With $500 budget for realtor leads, you're looking for a company program that balances cost, lead quality, and conversion potential. Based on what's available in the market, April 9th, 2025, those of you who aren't paying attention, that's today. Here's a breakdown of your best options and my recommendation. Market leader, what you get, pros, cons, fit. I mean, guys, how good is this information? It's much better. I'm completely replaced. It is much better than anything I could have given you. And what all I get is feedback from you guys. So this is taking feedback from everywhere. Where might you ask? Is it taking feedback? These 25 web pages. Okay, and you can go rabbit hole into these. That's what I did last night. I didn't get a lot of sleep. So you can rabbit hole into these, right? All right, with $500 a month, blah, blah, blah. Market leader, what you get. Bold leads, what you get. Red X, what you get. Zillow Premier, what you get. And then their recommendation. They even give you a recommendation. Market leader professional plan. Exclusivity. You're not fighting other agents for the same lead, unlike Zillow or Red X. Volume, 10 to 15 month is realistic within your budget, giving you a steady steady flow to work. Do you guys have any idea how many leads you should close? We're about to find out. I'm going to say 1 out of 20. Two to 10%, 2 to 5% newer. Yeah. So there you go. 1 out of 20 is 5%. So let's look. So they just said I can spend $500 a month and I should expect 15 leads a month, right? I don't know how good you guys are in math, but let's say I spent $650, I should get 20 leads. $700, I should get 20 leads a month. That means I should close one deal for $700 a month. I should be closing one deal a month. Based on what? 2 to 10%. If you're newer, expect 2 to 5. That's 1 out of 20 to 50. Experienced agents is 1 out of 10 to 20. Top performers who've mastered conversion can push past 10%, but that's rare without serious optimization. Well, 10% would be crazy. That's really good. Why the range? Lead quality, your hustle. That's a big difference. And market timing. If it's a hot seller's market, buyer leads might close faster. In a buyer's market, seller leads might take longer. Realistic goal for $500 a month. If you're spending $500 a month on exclusive leads and getting 10 to 15 leads per day, closing one deal every 1 to 2 months on that $500. Guys, how much do you make when you close a deal? Let's say the average, well, right now the median price is near $400,000 and you guys are making 2.5 to 3%. So that's $10,000 to $12,000. Okay. For spending $500 to $1,000 if you do one every 1 to 2 months. If you can afford to spend more is what I'm getting at. And then what does that do for you? So does that $500 or $1,000 buy you $10,000 to $12,000? That makes sense, right? But it doesn't, because that person is going to buy and sell every 5 to 7 years. They're going to have children or friends or parents or whatever. And if you take care of these clients, you will turn that $500 to $1,000 into tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. That is how you build a business, guys. That is the cheapest client you will ever get are these referrals and everything else that you do. Am I losing anybody here? Do anybody want to call me out for BS on this? Does anybody think I'm wrong? Anybody? You guys have a lot of experience. Some of you guys have bought leads before. Am I wrong? Is Grok wrong too? Now I have backup. It is, I mean, I don't know. They say AI is pretty smart. So this is your realistic goal for $500 a month. Okay, these are how many you should be closing. How to hit that number, guys, it gives you all of this stuff, Top Performers Insight, and it gives you the website of where it's getting it from. Oh, I got down to free activities. Hold on one second. Let me get back up here. 25 web pages for this. Okay, I already had that, sorry. All right, let's go down to this. I said, well, what if I'm broke? What free activities can I take part in to boost my realtor business? I'm sorry, Tammy, go ahead. Jean, I guess, does not really have a question, but Tammy, go ahead.
Because I do pay for leads in this market, you're not getting 10 to 15 leads a month, just so you know that. And I pay a lot more than 500, but you know,
Well,
you do get leads.
It depends on your parameters too. And it depends on what you're doing. And I don't know what your parameters are set at, Tammy. I know you're very successful, so you might have different parameters than people starting out might have.
Yeah, I just didn't want somebody to think, "Ooh, I can get 15 leads," because it is a little slimmer these days.
Yeah.
You know, the volume of calls and stuff for buyers.
Sure. Absolutely. That makes sense. But I would tell anyone starting, and I didn't get into this, but to open your parameters, you're going to have to work with all kinds of people. And don't forget, we also have, and you're going to contact Solange for this, but we also have Realtor.com, the whatever they're called now. It used to be OpCity, and we have Prime Street. And I think OpCity has a waiting list now, but Prime Street is still just sign up for it. Prime Street and OpCity are, let's talk about Prime Street because it's available right now. It's homes.com leads. They are free up front, and you pay 35% on the back end when you close it. Just so you know, a lot of people are paying 35% to their broker for nothing. So paying 35% for a referral is not that bad.
I have not had an OpCity lead in probably a year.
Well,
my phone hasn't even dinged.
Yeah, I know for a fact that you have your parameters set pretty good.
No, I have them pretty. No, I
They're
just.
open? So I see leads going out all the time. There are fewer than there were before, but I get copied every time somebody takes one.
I mean, I used to have so many leads from OpCity, but my phone does not even ding.
OpCity has an algorithm that rewards people who have closed the most with them. I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know how many you've closed with them, but
I think I was at the top of the leaderboard. I was like 13.
Okay.
And then they just dropped off. It's just weird. I don't really worry about it anymore. It's just kind of like, okay, well.
I get copied when any of you guys take them, and there are fewer of them, but they have a waiting list. They have so many agents here now. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And you've got agents from Keller Williams on there, and Keller Williams agents pay 36% to Keller Williams and then 35% to OpCity. I mean, actually, I think the other way around, 35% to OpCity and then 36% to Keller Williams. So it's rough out there for people who are paying their broker too, but they still take them. And people ask me, sometimes I get rental leads through that, and if those count toward your algorithm of doing more, but I imagine there are fewer leads out there right now, Tammy. Nai.
You mentioned that Solange is the one to contact regarding the registration on those websites.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have her information. So is it possible to share? or
Yes,
tell
she-
me where to go for that?
She'll put it in chat.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned that there's no upfront cost to get on them, but there is a 35% charge for referral.
Yes. Yeah, it's 35% of every closing, there's 35%. So
Mhm.
so what you do is you do have to keep your portal up to date, like update them on, Susie Smith, they'll refer Susie Smith to you who wants a whatever she wants, right? $300,000 house in this area, whatever. And you have to keep them updated and say, well, Susie, I showed Susie some houses, or I contacted Susie and she hasn't contacted me back, or whatever it is. Just got to keep them updated. It doesn't always have to be positive stuff. You just have to keep them updated. And if you get, eventually you can release them back or whatever. But if you don't keep them updated, they're going to release them all back to themselves or to someone else.
Let's say I make $15,000 in commission, then they get 35% of it.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And we just do the same for we don't do it. We'll send it directly to them. We just charge the same transaction fee as always.
And they
Got it.
take 35% of the transaction fee too. Whatever
Yes.
you charge them, they take 35% of.
Yeah, and why that happens is I think people have been, to try to trick them. They've been, I'll do it for 1% commission and I'll just charge you an $8,000 transaction fee, so I can keep all that money. So without sharing it. So they want 35% of the transaction fee also. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. What free activities can I take part in to boost my realtor business? So aside from this, and I do not be relying solely on leads that you buy. Tammy, is that a bad idea to rely solely on leads that you buy?
Yes.
Okay. Are you still out doing things in the community? You are. And Tammy has a book of business. Tammy has referrals. Tammy has this and that. She's still out doing other things in the business. Boosting your realtor business without spending money is all about leveraging time, relationships, and local opportunities. Here's some free activities. Host open houses. Absolutely should be doing this, guys. If you are a hungry agent, you should absolutely be offering to host open houses, even for other people, but definitely when you have a listing, you should be hosting. Talk your sellers into it. Network in your community. A lot of sellers want you to do it anyway because they feel like that's part of what realtors do and they're paying you for something and you better be putting in time or whatever. Networking in your community, hitting up local events, farmers markets, charity runs, festivals. Bring business cards and strike up casual conversations. Wear your name tags. I don't know if you're embarrassed to be a realtor or what you are, but wear your name tags. Find a shirt that says that you're a realtor. It doesn't have to say realtor huge across it, although it wouldn't kill you. But if it can be something subtle that people are going to see, that's awesome. People talk to me about my Florida Realty Investment shirt. Work your sphere of influence. Obviously, call, text, meet up with friends, family, past clients, anyone you know. Don't pitch hard. Just check in and mention you're in real estate. Ask if they know anyone looking to buy or sell. What did we talk about in here that we had a guest one time and she had a brilliant thing that she would say, which is, what's next for you guys? Just checking in on your friends. So what's next for you guys? Making sure you're loving the house that you bought last year. Everybody loves the house they bought last year for the most part, right? Well, what's next for you guys? Well, little Tammy is going off to college. Little Bobby is doing whatever, right? So, we're thinking about downsizing. We're, whatever. Okay. Leverage social media, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, share all these things, join local groups. I just saw Daryl posted something in the chat. Daryl does a great job of with his newsletter. He does a great job of going around his neighborhood and picking up trash, which is a fantastic idea. He is beloved in his neighborhood, I'm sure. Door knock, flyering neighborhoods. No sales pitch. I'm just here if you need me. If that's not your style, print basic flyers at home and drop them off. You guys, we have Michelle in here. Michelle can design flyers for you if you're intimidated by that. Cold call expired listings, FSBOs, and she'll do that for you for free in business hours. She is an employee, so she's there for you guys as a resource. Cold call expiring listings, FSBOs. This is the kind of work you guys hate, cold calling, but have a script ready and you'll feel a lot better about it. Following a script is great for you psychologically. You are saying words that have been generated by AI or someone else. You're copying someone else, and you do not take it as personally. Trust me, do not take it as personally when people say no, or leave me alone, or that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, or because you didn't write it. So it can be the dumbest thing you've ever heard. I don't get offended if people think Moby Dick is dumb. I didn't write it. So that's how you can dissociate your ego from your phone presentation, and your rejection from your ego, right? So that's just a little bit of free advice for you guys to use a script when you call, even when you go talk to someone door to door. Have it in your head, have the script in your head of what you're going to say, and you won't take rejection as personally, I promise you. You're still going to take it a little bit personally because it's still your face, it's still your voice on the phone. But if it's someone else's words, they don't like the words, they don't mind you. I can see most of your faces, you look fine. But it's the words that they're going to be object to, if they object at all. And it works, guys. It only has to work once in a while. If you get on the phone for 3 hours a day, 2 hours a day, I promise you'll be successful with this. Have a decent script. You'll be successful with this. Volunteer locally, coach a kid's sports team, help at a food bank, join a cleanup day. You guys can don't join Daryl in his neighborhood. He'll kick you out. You'll meet people naturally when they ask what you do. I'm a realtor, plants the seed, and makes you feel good. It builds your reputation in the community. It's awesome. Partner with local businesses. Create free content, obviously, for your stuff. Social media stuff is obviously free, and it is wonderful. Well, it's basically free. If you want to boost it, you can, but it's basically free. Industry events. Quick tips to maximize these. And this doesn't talk about building relationships with other complementary businesses, like accounting, like divorce attorneys, or even regular attorneys, probate attorneys, anything like that. Guys, this is a thing. Make sure that this is the case, because it's illegal otherwise, and of course they'll know that too. But talk to attorneys. Most attorneys, not most, a lot of attorneys have real estate licenses. We have probably 6 attorneys under FRI. We have, that I know of, that are actually working attorneys. Some other people have law degrees and have passed the bar, but aren't practicing. But we have at least 6 practicing attorneys under our FRI. Talk to attorneys and talk to them about, guess what? You can give them referrals when they send you people. And you can, if they don't have a brokerage that they're under, send them to FRI. We have a very good deal for referrals. If you guys don't know, we charge 10% of your referral up to your transaction fee, whatever that is, never more than that. So if you have $1,000 referral, we only charge $100. If you have a $10,000 referral, we only charge $350 or $399, whatever your fee is, $175. We have so many different ones now, which is great. But somewhere between $175 and $399, depending on when you joined and what program you're on. Be consistent. Pick 2 to 3 activities and do them weekly. Sporadic effort won't cut it. There's nothing more true than this. Sporadic effort won't cut it. Consistency and hard work is absolutely important. Use Google Sheets or your CRM, names, numbers, and follow-up dates. The magic's in the follow-through. Of course it is. There, we did that. We went through the exclusive leads. What was I going to... Oh, gosh, I was going to ask it one more thing. Any questions that you guys have? Yes, Daryl.
Not really a question, but something else that I do that it's turned out pretty good. I do the yard of the month. I started it back in November. And what I did is I asked 5 small business owners, well, 4 besides me, in my neighborhood to sponsor it with me. And now I've got prizes that are a little bit above $400 each month. So everybody in the neighborhood looks forward to it. And I send out I do it on like 5 Facebook pages, not my Facebook pages, everybody else in the neighborhood, because they're the ones that had the huge volumes, like 1,500 people. So I send it out and I put a little teaser on there, like a week before I announce it, that I'm going to be announcing it. I have neighbors nominate neighbors. You can't nominate yourself in your own yard, but your neighbor has to nominate you. So it works out to where it's good for the community. It keeps up the yards. Everybody gets excited. And my share of that is $70. So I'm giving out a little bit over $400 in prizes, and I'm only paying $70. I'm the one that picks the actual yard. It turned out to be a no-brainer. I've been doing it since November now. So just to share that with everyone.
Daryl, how much are you collecting in bribes from people who want you to pick their yard? We're not talking about that, are we?
Actually, that's a good subject, because when I do my litter walk, I do a litter walk maybe twice a week now. And people in the neighborhood, they honk at me and they yell and they say thank you. And we just had a big talk about it on Facebook the other day. It's turning out to be really funny.
That's awesome. And I love that you guys are talking about it on Facebook, because that's just bringing you more and more good publicity, which is great. Awesome. Good for you, Daryl. Guys, and so it's not free, but for $70, Daryl's getting all that attention, which is awesome. Daryl, if you had to say, how many do you think that'll ever lead to deals?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
I've got everybody kind of knows me in the neighborhood, so I'm not getting enough seller leads. I'm a listing agent. I've always been a listing agent. I'm not a buyer's agent. The only time I'm a buyer's agent is with my current clients. I'm a buyer's agent for them, but I don't go out and try to get buyers. It's just not me. I've always been a listing agent. And that's my philosophy here in this neighborhood. I want listings. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it'll generate more than what it is right now. It's slow, like Tammy said, it's freaking slower than all get out. It's dead. Yeah. And I'm just doing what I'm doing and getting out there and making sure everybody knows who I am and my face and my name and everything else. Doing open houses almost every other weekend. Actually, that leads to another thing. My largest competitor here actually closed his office, like 6 months ago, because he moved to the West Coast. He still does business here because he was in business 30 years. Well, out of the blue, he called me up and said, "Hey, Daryl, I've got these log books or the lot books that show all the lots here in Williamsburg." He said, "You're welcome to them if you want them." So I said, "Of course I want them." So I went over there and picked them up. We got to be somewhat friends. And now he calls me every time he gets a listing, and he has me do his open houses for him. And he was my #1 competitor. It's weird how things work.
Awesome. It might not be long until he starts referring those to you for a referral fee. Let him stay over there retired, or not retired, but let him stay over there on the coast. Good. That's awesome. But that's just, guys, that's just activity that has cost Daryl not very much money. And I know the litter walk doesn't cost you anything other than time. And that's it.
No, it gets me on my steps too. I tell everybody how many steps I do, and I share how many miles that I walk. That's part of the advertising, and people laugh. And I take pictures of things like blooming trees with flowers and stuff, and things around the neighborhood. And the older people here in Williamsburg just eat that up. They love it.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. All right. So since we were talking about cold calling, I said, let's get a script. Well, here we go. Intro, hi. So it gives you all this stuff, and you can make it do whatever you want. By the way, always ask it, please. I don't think it helps, but makes me feel good. But all of these things, tips to nail it, all this stuff, and it pulls these from all over the web. Does it give a thing on this one? It didn't give me the 25 websites on this one, but look what it does. I mean, it's got all of that stuff. Really cool. And you can always ask it, to keep it under 100 words or whatever it is that you want to do. You can always do that in these things. Give it a friendlier tone, give it a meaner tone. You can ask it to do whatever you want. And all this goes for all the AIs. So it's really cool. Any other questions? Thank you so much for that, Daryl. Any other questions? I mean, I'm excited about this stuff, guys. This is the kind of things you guys need to do to get unstuck. And it doesn't cost any money or much money to get going in this business, but you do, it's just like any other business. You do have to spend some. You have to spend some time and some money to be successful. You're not open. If you guys know of a business you can open without any effort or money, let me know and we'll do it together. I'll partner with you on it. Ann.
Yes, I have an agent that sometimes people refer clients to me from other states. So he's live in California, and I sold a house for this buyer already, and now the buyer want to buy another house, and last month, 2 months ago, I showed to him, and suddenly the agent contact me, say that my buyers want to buy again. Would you continue refer me? That's what they do in California when they refer somebody, is that for life, that I have to pay refer fee. What do you think?
Referral fees are usually good for 2 years, but they can put forever. There's a box to check on the referral form.
Okay, but I didn't check anything, so
Well,
I'm not sure.
I don't. You'd have to. Do you have a copy of the referral form?
Yeah, I have to check. I don't remember that I did that, but I will
Do
check.
you remember? Well, you would have put it into our system, I think. Well, you didn't receive the referral fee. If you tell Solange, if you put the address in the chat, Solange will. I want to see the, or just put it in the chat and I'll look it up. But I want to see the referral agreement. So, guys, pay attention to your referral agreements. They do say, typically, I don't care if California has a tradition of it being a thing. It better say that in writing because this isn't California. So it better say that in writing. But yes, they're absolutely on our referral forms, which I can pull up a sample of, because it's on our referral forms, guys, just so you know, like almost everything else in the universe is on Paperless Pipeline under the reference tab. Oh, while I'm on here too, Solange has put up a header for you guys, partly, would you say mostly because of Tammy, Solange? I'm just kidding. But she's one of them. That says, please do not change. It wasn't because of Tammy, but please do not change the status once we put submitted CDA. We change it. Once we start changing the status, please leave it alone.
I didn't change the status.
Nobody's talking. I'm just kidding.
Okay, okay.
But you have before, because I looked
I
at it.
used to change the status, but I asked them what they wanted. That's a while ago. But
Yeah,
I
you
don't
stopped in 2022. We saw it. So once we change the status, please leave it alone. And then because once we do that, it starts being an accounting thing.
But once you change the status,
Once we put submitted CDA, do not mark it closed.
no. But when I looked in that one account, they didn't have the transaction, the check or the Alta had not been posted.
Because we stopped doing that. We make those are office forms. So I put them under office forms. So I trained Solange the same way. Michaela put them under sale forms, but it doesn't really matter. But I mean, if you
Oh, so is it still in our, we have
it's
access
in there,
to
you just
it?
can't see it. You just can't see it. Admin can see it. I can see it.
Sometimes that's the easier way when you're looking up old data, to go in there and click on that old Alta, then go through my records. So
All right,
that's why
Solange, let's make those sale docs from now on. All right, so there you go. You'll always be able to look at it. We don't care if you look at it.
Yeah,
and
it's just a reference thing for
And
me.
if you ever see one that closed and we didn't get paid for it, please make sure you let us know. Because sometimes checks get lost in the mail. We have to track
Exactly. And that's the other thing too, is I'll go back and check, like on that lease thing, did they ever get paid? And,
right.
So I kind of just check on things and use that because like my deal, I'm wondering if the checks got lost in the mail going from the title company to the HOA. So I was like, oh, I wonder if we got the check. And I couldn't see if we got it or not. So that was just like a reference thing for me.
I can tell you a lot of checks do get lost in the mail.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Or title companies tell us they did. Let me look at this. I am not seeing this. We almost have too much stuff on here. There it is. Referral agreement. You guys can't see it yet, but you will. Okay. Let me share this instead. All right. Referral agreement. I'm going to blow it up a little bit more in case you guys are as blind as I am. Okay. One more time. Okay. Broker A. Okay. If you're on the receiving end of this, it'll be somebody else refers a person to FRI. Okay. Or vice versa. In consideration of referral of prospect, broker B, that's the receiving agent, brokerage, shall compensate broker A, the person who gave it up here, for this much, either a flat fee, which is not very common, as you guys know. Usually is 25%. You guys can put, that's industry standard, but you can do more or less. Nobody sets that industry standard, just kind of what we do. And if you have like an awesome $2 million listing and you want to give it to me, I might give you 50%, right? Because it's awesome and it's a listing and it's ready to go, whatever, right? Or 30% or whatever. If you have some name that you plucked off of your Facebook page, said they might be interested in buying one day, that might be a 20% referral, right? So they're different. Not all referrals are created not equally. Okay. Here's what you were talking about, Ann. Blank percent, and I know you have a different one from California or whatever, but blank percentage of gross purchase price of any property purchased, sold, or optioned by prospect. Do not use the gross purchase price. Do not put 25% of the gross purchase price. Do you guys see the problem with that? Everybody see the problem with 25% of the gross purchase price? How are you going to pay somebody 25% of the purchase price? You're making 3% maybe. So do not use that one. I think it's the dumbest thing that it's even on here. Here we go. Let's start talking about percentage of commission, because that's more what we're talking about. You would have to put such a small percentage of the gross purchase price that figure that out. Okay. Blank percent of the full commission received by broker B on any real estate transaction involving the prospect. If you're giving one, this is what I would recommend. Blank percentage of listing commission received by broker B on any real estate transaction involving prospect. So listing or selling, those are two different things too. So if you're just giving a listing referral, if you're just getting a listing referral, if you're getting this lead, you want to just get listing or selling. If you're giving the lead, you want to do the full commission on any real estate transaction involving the prospect. If I give you my client, my best client moves to, or I say I live in Virginia, my best client moves to Orlando, and I call Nahi and I say, would you be interested in this client? She says, of course. And I say, all right, 25% commission. Full commission, I'm going to put full commission received by broker B on any real estate transaction involving the prospect. Now, Nahi, who's just starting her real estate business, is not going to call me and say, no way, pal, I'm only doing one thing with this. She's going to be so happy to get my best client that she's going to give me full commission, a percentage of full commission received by her on any real estate transaction involving the prospect. Now, I don't know why, but people have always thought that this last 2 years, it does not say that. So that, and it all depends on what your form says. It also does not say that this is only for this property or this is only for one deal. So if I do listing commission, it could be for what anything they list with you for perpetuity. I don't know why, but people say that these are only good for 2 years. I know the ones that you get from realtor.com and Prime Street and Obsidian stuff, those are supposed to be good for 2 years. I don't know why, but that's not what it says here. And so you may want to be additional terms. This is for the purchase of one home. This is, good for the purchase of one home in the Orlando, Florida area, or Tampa, Florida, whatever, Central Florida area. If you want to do something like that, you can. Better to have more stuff written down than less. Okay. So protect yourself on these referral forms. I also like, if I'm giving the referral, I also want them to sign it before I give them the information about the referral. I want broker B to sign this. If I'm broker A giving my prospect to broker B, I want broker B to sign this before I have it signed by my brokerage and before I give them all the information. Fair enough? Does that make sense? Protect yourself. Yes, Nai.
My questions might be a little bit.
I'm sorry?
I'm saying, sorry if my question might be a little bit of a dummy one, but are these referrals available? Do we have those referral forms by other brokers? Or is this this referral forms, are they done on a case by case basis when someone wants to refer something, or is this something that we already have?
Case by case. Case by case. This is when I call you from Virginia and I say, I'm going to send, Susie Smith down to, she's coming down to Orlando. She's one of my best clients. She's got great credit. She's always buying. She buys 3 properties a year, blah, 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 right? Whatever it is. And you're going to be all excited. And I'm going to send you one of these. I'm going to have you sign it first before I give you her information.
This is from a realtor to a realtor. That's where it actually starts.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I've never done it before. Not familiar
No, there's no dumb questions. That's a great question. It's case by case. And if, you and you might do such a great job for Susie Smith that I start sending you anybody I know in the Orlando area. Maybe I used to live there, whatever. And, Susie Smith, I might want 30% because she buys, or 40% because she buys 3 properties a year. And you might say yes to that. And if you don't, I might ask other agents until I find somebody who will. But if you do such a great job for Susie, then I send you a client I don't know as well, and maybe they buy 1 property 1 time, and I just do for 25%. I don't expect you to take. You don't have to
Yeah.
do 40% on everything I ever send you.
Okay.
So
So
it's
what
just
is the
case by
difference?
case.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So I'm just looking at the options, and I understand the gross purchase is not a smart option to pick. And then the other two, the full commission, a percentage of the full commission, and the percentage of the listing commission. So I think the percentage of the listing commission would be probably the best option to go with.
Well, it depends if they're a seller or buyer, first of all.
I'm sorry.
And second,
Okay.
no, it's fine. But you might. So let's say I give you a listing. If I give you a listing, I'm going to definitely do full commission. I'm going to try to see if you fall for it. But if you're going to be the receiving agent, I wouldn't do that, because what if, so you go market this property for them, and off of your efforts, you get the buyer too. Guess what? If you sign full commission received by any real estate transaction involving the prospect, you owe me for 25% of all 6% of that deal that you got, even though I had nothing to do with the buyer. And we have actually had this deal with our brokerage. I've had to deal with this maybe 2 or 3 times over 10 years that people have, and it's always been our agent who agreed to the full commission and had to pay 25% of both sides of the deal, which is still good, but they had to pay 25% of both sides when the referring agent had nothing to do with it, except for the seller. They deserved it on half of it, but not the other half. So just be mindful of what you're signing and agreeing to. Okay. If they let you write the agreement, you write the agreement. All right. Always don't be lazy. That's what realtors like to do, is be lazy and say, oh yeah, send me that agreement. You do it. You say, yeah, absolutely, I accept referrals. Let me send you my referral acceptance sheet. Put them in, you'll be right in the process. I'll have that to you in 10 minutes. And put on there, you've got a buyer, then you're getting 25% of the selling commission that I receive on any real estate transaction involving prospect. Or I can lower it down. I can write in other 25% of the purchase of the home bought in Orlando, Florida area, or whatever area that you're in. Okay.
Agreements available for agents to.
Yeah, it's on Transaction Desk or Form Simplicity. This is a PDF copy that's on our form. If you guys have an Adobe Writer, you can use it off of us, but just get off Transaction Desk or Form Simplicity. All right. I hope that answers your question, Anne. I need to review yours.
Yeah, I just sent to you, but I think I signed his form, not my form. So
Okay. Right. Let me see his form. You definitely signed his form. California Association of Realtors. 25%. Okay. All right. Of the total gross compensation earned by recipient broker based on the principles. Okay, so they've limited. They put full commission, except they based only on the principal side of the transaction. So that means only their side. If you find the other side, that's fine. No, they've got you for a year. They've got you for a year. Anything that person buys for a year. I'm going to share this with you guys as well. Let me.
How long has it been, Ann? Is this the second deal or first deal?
first
With-
deal, but I'm not
Oh.
sure. Check like when is the last one sold? Maybe a year already.
Well, yeah, well, it's not even a year from that. It's a year from whenever this was signed.
Oh, so a year
Yeah.
from whenever this
Okay,
side.
let me share this with you guys. I'm not sharing it. Hold on. I don't know if I can. Let's see.
So this is over a year. If that's what you said.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to share this with everybody so you guys can see. Guys, This is real life. You guys are adults. This is real life business. You're running a business. This is real life stuff. So pay attention always to what you sign. Not that you didn't, and I'm not picking on you. You did. All right. As you see, California Association of Realtors, Realtor Fee Agreement, Referring Broker, Rodeo Realty, Beverly Hills, very fancy. Florida Realty Investments, even fancier. All right. In consideration for receiving the referral of a principal for referring broker, recipient broker agrees to pay referring broker as follows: 25% of the total gross compensation earned by recipient broker. And this, I like this part of the form, based only on the principal side of the transaction. That means if now this is a buyer, right? And so, yeah, and contract to buy. What they are saying is if Ann sells her own listing to this buyer, she obviously won't owe them 25% of the listing side that she already had. Or as recipient broker based on, or as follows. This is only for a one-time deal, by the way. Or as follows: the event specified below occurs no later than 12 months from the date of this agreement. Compensation is payable upon recordation of the right? So upon closing. But the event specified below occurs no later than 12, or they didn't choose a forever, full months from the date of this agreement. So no, it expires in 12 months. All right.
Since this form signed or since buyer close on the property?
Since the form was signed, it says from the date of this agreement.
So that means it's already expired.
Expired.
Does it say the date? I don't see the date.
Yeah, look down at the signature where
Yeah,
you signed it, Ryan.
Your side, your
Okay,
signature.
yeah,
1/23/24.
Yep, you're done. You're done. Did you already pay them on the one? Did you pay
Yeah,
them
I
on this?
did.
Okay,
I did.
good. Well, then you fulfilled your obligations.
But I feel bad, so I promised him only the next one I will do it for him. But move forward, I'm not going to refer. So to keep out the relationship.
Good. I mean, if the guy's going to keep sending you stuff, then great. But
Or keep giving him a referral, but lower the percentage. You know, say if after so many, I'd like to just switch it to 15% or something like that. If he's continuing to refer to you, because he'll just refer to somebody else to get the referral. Why would he refer to you if he's not getting anything?
unless this is just the same client over and over again that you already have.
It's the same client. Got it.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
same
somebody's gonna
line.
keep guys, look, don't be greedy. Most agents out there, all your friends that are in real estate are paying their broker 25% anyway. Pay referrals. If somebody will give you 75% of something's better than 100% of nothing. So pay your referrals. If the guy's going to keep sending you people, and if you think that the relationship is such between this buyer and the referring broker that if they find out that the broker doesn't like you anymore, they might split from you, then don't blow up a good customer over 25%. Like I always say, dumb agents are paying their broker 30% anyway. So, enjoy your thing. That's what I say about the Prime Street and all that stuff. A lot of people are paying their broker 35% for nothing. They sell their mom's house, they got to pay their broker 30%. So enjoy. Yes, Malvis.
Okay, I have a question regarding another topic that everybody in this call might benefit from.
It is real estate related, Malvis.
It sure is, sir.
Okay.
I have, and Brian, I already emailed you about this a couple weeks ago. You answered my question, but something else has come up. So I have a customer, quote unquote, that I was going to sell his house last year. He decided, after all, I'm not going to sell, I'm just going to rent it out. I ended up referring him to FRI, and currently FRI is managing the property, okay? The owner of the house wants to sell the house to the tenant right now. I was under the impression when I spoke to the owner that I was going to take the transaction and deal the transaction myself between both seller and buyer. But that is not the case. When he gave me the phone number for the buyer/tenant, I spoke to him last week, and he already wants to use his own buyer's agent, which is fine. Okay. My question is, I am not listing the house on the market because the owner already decided I'm going to sell it to my tenant. The tenant did told me last week that he has been already pre-approved by Wells Fargo and wants to purchase the home. I spoke to the tenant's agent, buyer's agent, this week, and I do have a meeting with the seller this coming Friday. Not listing the home on the MLS, just doing the transaction between the buyer's agent and myself, me representing the landlord, him representing the tenant. What two forms? I think I need the compensation agreement for this sale, and also the seller's agreement to pay the buyer's broker. I guess my question is, what are the correct forms that I should be using for this type of transactions, since I'm not listing the home on the MLS? Not now anyways, because in my meeting on Friday, when I speak to the seller, if this transaction does not work for this particular person, I am going to talk to him about putting the home on the market for sale and exposing it, to the public. So if this transaction is being done just between the buyer's agent, myself, seller and buyer, what are the forms other than the commission agreement form that I will need?
Okay. So since it's not on the MLS, the one thing that you do not need is, if you're the buyer's agent, you do not need the buyer brokerage agreement. Okay.
I do not.
No, you don't need. No, you wouldn't anyway, because it's not your buyer. But they don't need the buyer brokerage agreement. I'm just telling that for everybody's knowledge.
So hold on. So since the home is not in the MLS, that's why he doesn't need the buyer broker agreement?
Correct.
Okay, follow.
Right. It's great to have one. If you guys are having no problem getting these things signed. I have had zero of you calling me saying somebody won't sign a buyer brokerage agreement. And I've asked you guys several times, is anybody having a hard time getting a buyer brokerage agreement signed? Is anybody? Buyers are signing, aren't they? Buyers are signing. Are buyers signing at 3%?
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. You're telling them that we're going to try to get this from the seller, and they don't care. They're like, okay, well, I need help, right? So people will agree to anything when they need help, obviously, but that's great. And you guys are getting, like I've told you several times, I'm getting off topic, but you guys are getting paid more because you're going after 3%. And I absolutely love it. This is exactly what that stupid fake lawsuit wasn't designed to do. And I love it. And you guys are being tough about it, and you're putting on your salespeople hat, and you're fighting for your business, and you're fighting for your money. And I love it, as you should be doing. It was a terrible, terrible lawsuit, stupid lawsuit, and a terrible outcome of that lawsuit. And exactly what should be happening is happening. Okay. But MLS did need to be stopped because they were not in the listing agent should not decide how much you make. You guys are deciding how much you make as buyer's agents, and that's great. Okay. And the seller ultimately has the yay or nay on it. And they're saying yay because they need buyers. All right, Malvis, on your side, do you need the compensation form, buyer's broker to seller's broker, or any of that stuff, or seller's broker to buyer's broker? Do you need that stuff? I don't know. I know you don't need the buyer brokerage agreement, but we want those compensation forms because we're not sure. Guys, this is the Wild West still. We don't know I don't know who's enforcing this. I don't think the state is going to audit us on this. We went through, as you guys know, I announced it last year because it was frustrating. We went through an audit last year of you guys' files, and we did great. But this was before this, and I don't know who's going to be looking for this. Actually, it was after this was already in. It was like September, October. This was already in process, and they didn't ask for any of this stuff. But I mean, who knows who's going to enforce this stuff? And they didn't know who's going to enforce this stuff because it's not FREC stuff. This is NAR stuff. So, but we're not going to get caught without holding the papers that we need to be holding. So please do your compensation forms. Also, buyer brokerage agreements. I don't care if it is you or your cat that is buying a house. You need one. You need one between FRI and whoever is the buyer, So quit telling me, oh, I'm buying this for myself, I don't need one. Yes, you do. If it's on MLS, you need a buyer brokerage form. If you're looking at houses on MLS, you need a buyer brokerage form or showing agreement or whatever. You need one. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I digress again. I don't care what you use for compensation. You need to use the compensation forms, and I think it's cleaner. And I think that a lot of brokers don't know any better, so they're going to be like, "We need this." So go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And what was the other thing that you thought you might need? Yeah,
so the
just
other
do it like you would. Pretend it is on MLS. Just do it like you would.
That's what I was going to ask Ryan, because the buyer's agent, when we spoke on Monday, he asked me, "Hey, Malvis, how much am I going to get paid in this transaction?" He's already trading it as the house is going on the market, and it's not
He would have to ask that anyway. Even for a FSBO, you have to ask that, right?
correct. So when I go meet my seller on Friday, ever since this lawsuit, I never changed anything when I go into a listing presentation. I do tell them, compensation is agreeable, it's negotiable, but normally I would charge 6%. That's what I tell people. I would charge 6% because I'm already assuming that, okay, I'm going to keep my 3, and I am already, if I was in the buyer's shoes, in the buyer's agent's shoes, I would want 3% as well. So I always tell the sellers, normally in a regular market, I would charge 6%, and the 6% is divided between the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. This is my job, this is my role, da, 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 da. So honestly, Ryan, would I treat this normally as if it was going to go put the home on the MLS and explain the seller, this is negotiable, you don't have to, but normally we would offer compensation to the agent that is dealing with the buyer.
Okay, so yeah, of course you're going to explain all that stuff, and they know that because they dealt with you before they're your client. So here's what's likely happening, and I'm saying this because someone is renting. They probably do not have a favorite realtor. This person is their favorite realtor because it's their cousin or their brother-in-law or someone that's related to them, probably giving commission back to them.
Well, not in this case, because he actually the realtor that is representing him is actually the realtor who put them in the home. Like he found this home.
Oh, okay. So he found them this house. Okay, I thought you placed the tenant. Okay, so regardless of that, he should not have asked you what I would not have asked you on a property that's not on the market, knowing that you don't have a listing agreement because it wasn't on the market. I would not have asked you what commission you're paying. I would have put 3% in the contract. So if you're representing a tenant like this, guys, and your property's not on the market, just put 3% in the contract. It is not a NAR deal that MLS and NAR oversees. So put 3% in the contract. That's how we do commercial, and that's what you should absolutely do. Anything that's not in the MLS, that's what you should do as a buyer's agent. As a seller's agent,
is that something, Ryan, that I should bring up in my meeting on Friday?
No.
To make aware the seller that they might even if they don't agree to pay any commission, they might come back and ask him for it.
If they don't agree to pay commission, they're definitely going to come back and ask him for it.
They're going to come back for it. Yes.
Right. This is not a volunteer agent that you're working with, so they're definitely going to ask for it. So you can go one of 2 ways, and here's the pluses and minuses of doing these. You can come up with a commission agreement for yourself with the seller and put the 3% for the seller for yourself, knowing that the buyer's going to, and let them know the buyer's going to negotiate for their part. Or you can do an exclusive right of sale like a normal listing, but then you need an MLS exclusion sheet unless, because they might deal with this buyer and not put it on the market.
Say that again.
You can either do a commission agreement like you would with a FSBO or whatever, right? That the seller's going to pay you 3% and let the buyer negotiate for theirs, right? Or you can do an exclusive right of sale listing agreement, but if you do, which is what I recommend, and do it with an MLS exclusion that protects you from having to put it on MLS yet. So do an MLS exclusion until future date, when you can put a date on there for now, and then extend it to whenever, in case this buyer falls through.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend. Go to him with a listing agreement. Say, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're keeping it off the MLS until we decide whether or not this tenant is buying the house.
I see.
All right.
Okay. Okay,
But if,
and
he'll
then
only agree, if he's not sure about putting it on the market yet, and he'll only agree to work with this tenant right now, then just do a commission agreement.
okay,
But absolutely make them aware that obviously they're being represented. They're going to want some money.
yes, okay,
And any contract that he, you know, but hey, you're getting to review the contract. The price isn't right, then, and with the commission, then we're not going to be, you don't have to accept it. And we'll move on.
Okay.
All right. And we're going to get more money, most likely we're going to get more money on the open market. You know, if I say, Malvis, I'm selling my car and you're the only person who can talk to me about buying it, am I going to get more from you or am I get more from putting it out to the whole world on Auto Trader? Right. So,
yeah,
okay, perfect.
Thank
I hope that answers the questions that you have. But so those are your two things with him is either, and then whatever he agrees to pay the other side, then you'll do a form for seller's broker to buyer's broker.
yes.
Okay, Tammy. You're muted, Tammy.
You didn't show us your AI generated whatever you were going to show us.
What was it? I mean,
It wasn't a picture of you or something?
no.
Oh, or maybe it's just these questions. Oh, okay.
No,
I
that's
thought
when
you
you
had
don't need
generated
me.
some AI advertising.
No, one day you'll probably just have an AI meet here, you know, AI me here. When Carissa figures that out, I'll be long gone. But no, there's no
Okay, I
picture
thought you
of
did
me.
some
Thank
sample
God.
advertising.
No, it's doing my job for me. It's not replacing me
Oh,
as a
got it.
person. Thank goodness.
Got it, got it.
Won't be long. We'll all be replaced here. Some of you guys are probably AI right now. Any other questions before we go? Daryl, you were the first suspect. Any other questions before we go? Did you guys get anything out of this? Any ideas? Did you get any kind of thing? Get on. I would say get on AI and see what it is that you want to do, and just get lost in some of these. All these websites and stuff they give are great. That is a great way to find out what websites can help you. It's much better than just Googling it. But to see where they pulled them from and all the things that they offer is really, really cool. And then get on there and demo some of these things if you're interested in the leads. Guys, you do have to spend some money to make some money. I'm glad. Thank you, Gigi. I'm glad some of you guys got something out of this. This is kind of a passion for me. This is because, guys, I hear you. We're up 35% last month from February to March. We were up 35%. There is market movement. Things are going. So you guys are doing better. There is some stuff happening out there. If it's not happening in your neighborhood yet, it will. There's a lot of pent up demand, guys. The market's been down for a while now, and you guys have seen this. The only people moving are people who have to, for jobs or for, deaths in the family or whatever it is that they've had to. The people who want to move haven't been moving. So people who want to downsize or do whatever, because the kids are going away to college or because whatever, or the people who've had one more kid than they're comfortable with in their house, they're just gutting it out for now, waiting for the market to the things to come down. I'm not getting rid of my 3% interest rate for a 7 kind of people. And I don't blame them, because if I'm downsizing out of my 5-bedroom house into a 3-bedroom because the kids are gone, but I'm still going to spend the same money, no way. Right. So let's be patient. There's a lot of pent up demand. When these rates give a little bit, I know they just went back up a little bit, but when they give a little bit, we're going to get some action, a lot of buyer action. We've got plenty of inventory right now. Inventory that's come off is going to go back on. People have also given up on selling. Some people, as you guys know, a lot of expireds have just given up on it, which is a great time to chase expireds and put them on 6 months, and hopefully something shakes, because I think it will. Malvis, you have a question? You're on mute if you did that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I do have a listing that I have actually extended the temporary of the market 3 times, because the guy was going to sell and to buy. And now he's finding his mortgage payment for his current home is just lower than if he was going to buy. I don't know what to do. I know I can make him sell. It's a great house, but I had it for a very long time, and I had already extended the temporary out of the market 3 times. So I don't know if I should just give up on this listing and just cancel my contract and tell him, hey, call me back when you're ready to sell, put it back on the market, and we'll sign a new contract. or just keep on extending the temporary out of the market?
If you think that he's 100% going to come back to you, I take off the market for 60 days and get him a new clock. Get you a new clock for when the market picks up. But if you think there's any chance of it selling in the meantime, then do that. But that's going to get his days on market gone if you wait 60 days. If you know he won't go anywhere, if you know you have a hold of the client. All right?
Well, that's pretty hard to tell, honestly, at these days.
Yeah.
People's loyalty is just crazy. But I just don't know for how much longer do I just keep on extending my listing agreement and temporary out of the market? Because I already extended the listing agreement twice, and I already extended the temporary out of the market 3 times.
Why are you taking what?
I thought with a TOM there wasn't a date, an expiration date on a TOM. Because I think I called the board once and they said, I mean, it can be indefinitely or something, and it drops off or something like that. It's been a while.
Only if your listing agreement is still good.
Oh, okay.
If your listing agreement expired, if your listing expired, as long as you keep extending the listing date on MLS, yeah, you can keep off market.
Oh,
forever.
okay. That's what she's talking about. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but I don't know why she's
Yes.
taking it off market. It's not helping your days on market. I mean, you're cumulative and all that, yes, but it's not. You're not going to sell it while it's off the market, most likely.
But if you cancel it, there's the what is it? There's 2 cancellation things, which doesn't one mean
there's conditional cancellation, and that doesn't apply to this.
is she canceled? Oh, it
The
doesn't.
conditional, you can do it conditionally if they still owe you money for your cancellation fee or termination fee.
Oh,
That just means I can't list. They can't come to me after they cancel with you, and I can't list it until they get that resolved with you. Which means you have to pay your cancellation fee or whatever. That's typically why that's done, is because there's something not resolved between them. But they're done. They want it off the market, and we have to honor that. So we conditionally withdraw it. Okay, but they still owe me money, and so when
I thought they were just obligated. They were verbally obligated to you, and that's why I don't even remember back when that happened.
No. It's still let's say that you have it. Let's say you have a listing and you are showing it and doing everything, and Daryl brings you a client, and they look at it and they can't quite come to an agreement, whatever, and it expires, right? Or the owner says, Tammy, I've had it. Let's just, this thing didn't work out with Daryl's client. Let's just cancel this thing. I'm done showing it. I've just had enough. I'll wait for the market to change. All right. And they pay your termination fee, whatever, we're done, right? And then I go in and I list it. They call me and I list it. But Daryl comes back with his client a week later and says, you know what? They will pay you what you want now. They're tired of looking. So can we do this deal? They still owe you a commission. They don't owe me a commission. You still have a tail on yours for you brought Daryl and his client originally. Okay. So you still get paid. I don't get paid in that case. All right. That's the tail on a listing agreement, because you procured that buyer while you were there. I mean, you didn't procure them, but you got them and that's yours. So it's difficult to say on all that stuff. But if they hadn't paid your termination fee, I couldn't list it anyway, because they're still beholden to you until they pay your termination fee. Okay. And that, that tail is part of, they can't fire you and then do the deal with Daryl's people to save money. Right. Ann, you have a question?
Yes, I have a listing that I sold this property for. My buyer filed that property for me, and they want to buy that property 2021 from the new builder, a small builder. So they list the square feet at 2,663 square feet, and on the public record right now, it's only show 2,000 something square feet, and the appraisal at that time. It came back 2,000 something, but the house looked big. So I'm not sure right now. I list the property for sale. I'm not sure which one is correct, because public record, sometimes they wrong too. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm thinking. So yeah, sometimes public record is wrong, and sometimes the owner is wrong, and all of that. And usually the appraiser is right.
But appraisal, sometimes they lazy, they just pick it from public record.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you tell them there's a discrepancy, they'll get it right. So you think the public record is wrong?
Yeah, because
Are you sure everything's permitted on there?
I'm not, I don't know, but because like, this is what I'm thinking. The house over there is much bigger than the house I have right now, 2,100 square feet. And it's show on the public record is only 2,000 square feet, but it look big than the one I have right now.
Okay. What have you, is there any add-ons or anything to this house?
No, it's just a new build.
It's a new build.
Mm-hmm.
Who built it?
A small builder, and it's their out business already. That's why we cannot get a hold of them.
Okay. Gotcha. Somebody's got to have the right documents for that. I would check with the building department.
Okay.
They will get it right. There's only, public records department is only as good as the people typing the numbers in. And if somebody's hungover or didn't have their coffee this morning or whatever, and distracted, whatever's going on, they make mistakes. And you're only as strong as your weakest link. So there's going to be problems sometimes. Somebody's going to hit the wrong button when they're keying something in. It happens. I would check with the building department. They'll have the plans and they'll know.
How can I get a hold of them? I have to be there, or email, or call?
You might have to go there. What town is it in?
Apopka, Orlando.
Apopka or Orlando or
I'm sorry,
one of
Apopka.
you need to know if it's an Apopka, real Apopka, or an unincorporated Orange County, but with an Apopka address.
Apopka address.
I understand, but there's a lot of room between. I know the area well. There's a lot of room between Ocoee and Apopka that has an Apopka address, but it's not really in the city limits. So that'll be in Orange County.
It's
But-
in Orange County.
But you just start calling and you'll get to the bottom of it.
You'll get
Because
to
when
the
I was
bottom of it.
calling
Call
for
this-
commercial, they would explain to me based on what the public record says.
Yeah, so call
And
the
then you have
city of Apopka
yeah.
and give them the address and see, is this something that you guys handled? And
Okay.
they'll say, oh, no, that's in unincorporated Orange County. Unincorporated Orange County just means it's in Orange County, but not in a city, has not been annexed into a city, but Apopka may have annexed it, or it might be, I don't know, it might be in downtown Apopka for all I know. I'm just saying that could happen. A new build is probably something that's recently been annexed or it's been approved in the county, assuming it's in a big subdivision that's fairly new. Okay, so contact them. But if it's a small builder who went out of business, it could be anywhere. So I don't know. That could be on a scattered lot somewhere.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Either way, you just call the city and see if they handle it. If it's their jurisdiction, they'll tell you right away. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. Any other questions before we go? Going once, going twice. All right, guys. We will see you next week. I hope everybody got something out of this. I enjoyed it. But I hope you guys got something out of it. I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Ryan.
No
Thanks.
problem. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.